Hey guys, this is Lola, but you can call me Lola if you like.
Hi, this is Velisa, and you can call me Vels if you want. And this is the Everybody Hates HR podcast, episode 121. Woo! Ready to give your HR career the glow up it deserves? Get qualified the no-nonsense way with top UK CIPD provider DPG and save 5% with the code EHHR5.
For over 30 years, DPG have delivered flexible, industry-recognized CIPD courses in HR and L&D at levels 3, 5 and 7, fully online with expert tutor support.
Already CIPD qualified? No problem. Use the code EHHR5 to top up your skills with a Prince 2 project management qualification instead. Perfect for keeping HR projects running smoothly while adding even more value to your role.
Plus, with their low deposit and 0% finance options, DPG makes learning affordable, meaning you can focus on your goals without breaking the bank.
Thousands of people have already upgraded their careers online. Ready to do the same? Enroll by the 30th of November at dpglearn.co.uk and save 5% with the code EHHR5. We are back.
Like we never left.
This is going to be a very good episode.
A very, very special episode.
Informative. But I actually think it's very relevant and it's very beneficial, as you know when you come into this time of year, it's like school time for actual kids.
School.
Yeah. But it's for adults as well, about, how to better yourself, do things to help with your career, and just kind of take a step back and reflect on what you want to do and what you're going to do to get there.
Yeah, and I think I said it before, September always feels like a fresh start for me, like new school term, it was always like that. And also when I was working, when as a grad, it was like when the new performance year and stuff started. So yeah, it's always just felt like a bit of a fresh start for me. I love September.
Same.
Yeah, because I've been outside. So September is like, okay, we've had a good summer, time to get to work, time to get down to business.
Yeah, and by the time this comes out, I will be in full-blown school run mode.
I hope I'm praying for you. I hope it's easy. How close is the school?
It's not that close. Well,
they're all close, aren't
it's a 20-minute walk and a 5-minute drive.
So we know how you're getting there.
Okay, I care about the environment.
If the traffic,
if there's traffic, maybe 8 minutes.
Okay, all right then.
Yeah, so it's not too bad.
Okay.
Yeah,
I expect you to be walking 3 days a week.
Who, me?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, on the days I'm working from home, I'll walk to get home.
Okay, fine. You said it now. Yeah.
I was touching wood, guys.
Yeah, so this is a very special episode, as we said, brought to you by DPG Learn. We've got a discount code. You would have heard it at the beginning of the episode, so please do use it. And we thought we'd talk a little bit about our qualifications that we've done, qualifications that we want to do, and just how our qualifications have impacted our professional journeys.
Yeah. Who wants to go first?
You're looking at me, so I really know the answer to that. As you know, guys, it's been a long established running joke that I like to study. Yeah.
It's not a joke.
It is, because actually I like to learn. I love learning. I think it's I love learning new things. I feel so fulfilled when I know that I've been able to learn something that I didn't know before, or when I can do something that I couldn't do before because of something that I've learned. And I'm currently reading Atomic Habits. I started it at the beginning of the year and then I actually didn't finish it, which is funny because the book it is, but I'm really deep into it now. And it speaks a lot about basically making incremental improvements in your life and your habits and stuff like that. And I feel like learning is like an incremental improvement that you can make in your life. Every day you learn something new, you become a little bit better, or every kind of course or qualification or study that you do, you become a little bit better in your career or a little bit more competent in your job. And that's definitely been my story. So from the very beginning, I take you through the qualifications. I went to university, I studied accounting and finance, and I got a first class degree, and I went on to join Deloitte, where I studied my ATT, which is like a junior tax qualification. and then my CTA, which is to become a chartered tax advisor, which was obviously very relevant to my job at the time. And I also did ACCA, and that's to become a member of the Association of Chartered Certified Accountants. And at the time, obviously, it was still very relevant to my career. I didn't, quote unquote, need ACCA for my job, but I just felt like CTA was a little bit boxy for me. It's specifically for tax. So it's not even wider finance, wider accounting. And I just thought, you know, I like business. I already knew then I like business skills, and I thought I would want to just do something that's going to help me to be a bit more commercial. So that's why I decided to do ACCA. And that was all before I made my career change. And then once I made my career change, when I moved into HR, my priority, like literally at the beginning, as soon as I moved into HR, was to do CIPD level 5. So I started my new job in HR, my first job in HR, in August. And in the September, I started my CIPD level 5, sorry. And I wanted to make sure that I knew the right way to do things. I didn't want it to be like, I was teaching myself. I was in a standalone role. So I was already teaching myself, trying to learn as much as I could. And then, I thought it's really important that I study this because I want to make sure that I know the things I'm supposed to know at my level. So I went on and I studied my CIPD level 5, which I did find quite helpful, especially the stuff around employee relations, employment law, just like the kind of what I feel is like bread and butter of making sure you don't get into trouble in HR. And then I eventually, maybe like 3 years later, I started a master's and in human resource management, which was like a CIPD accredited one. So I got my level 7 as well at the same time. And that's been it. And then obviously you guys that listen to the podcast will know more recently that I am gently studying to become a solicitor. And that's just because I would love to be able to give legal advice. I've decided to take my time with it because, you know, it's not a race. And in the past, I've also mentioned to you, which I will be also pursuing, doing a project management qualification. So Prince 2, I'm planning to study. I just don't have a time frame for it. So that's it. It sounds like a lot, right, on paper, but obviously this is through the different stages of my career and over a long time. And I have no regrets. There's not one thing that I've studied that I hadn't added value to my career at the time or my career now. Even things like ACCA, which you would think are super not relevant now. Like it's just the skills that I learned in there, the business, the commercial stuff, the like even stuff like corporate governance, like understanding like ethics, code of conduct, stuff like that is still relevant to me now. So I definitely think that my career would be very different if I didn't have my qualifications, both because of what I've learned and how they make me look, which is really good and really smart.
I think it's actually good that we have very different routes in our career because training is important, qualifications are important, courses are important. But mine is not as heavy as Lola's. But I think a part of that as well is because I went straight into HR. I didn't have a career change. But yeah, my degree is in history, so nothing to do with HR. And then after, I think it was 2 years into my HR career is when the company I worked for paid for my CIPD level 5. So I got it quite quickly, I guess, in terms of how long I was in HR before I did it. But I think I've said it on a previous episode. I think it was very good that I was already working in HR when I did my CIPD. Not to say you can't do it before you start, but it definitely helped me. Like a lot of the assignments and stuff that I had, I was able to use things that I was learning at work on the job in my CIPD. So it's always really helpful. That was also before I knew I was going to be working and specializing in employee relations. So when I started to specialize in employee relations, if you know about employee relations, a lot of it is dealing with interpersonal conflicts. A lot of it can be quite, you have to be quite tactful with how you have certain conversations, and you have to be able to negotiate, settlements and things like that. And so one of the things that I did is qualify as a mediator. So I think qualifying with a mediation qualification has been very helpful for me in ER, because it's just helped me like deal with interpersonal conflicts, especially at a time actually, because I did it before COVID. And when COVID hit, and working for a global company like Meta, I was still having a lot of meetings remotely just because of the amount of countries that I looked after. So I was doing a lot of mediations remotely. So I think it was really helpful to be able to...
Is that harder?
Yeah.
I can imagine
it was. I had a lot of mediations that were, even if I wanted to do them face to face and there was no COVID, I couldn't, because I had one person in Israel and one person in Ireland. So yeah, it was a bit more difficult, but I do think it really helped me with the theory of mediation, which meant doing them remotely. I kind of had to rely on the theory more because they weren't in front of me, and I couldn't rely on human behavior and all of that stuff. So yeah, really good in that sense. And then also really good when dealing with difficult employees who you need to settle with and negotiate with, and they're giving you ridiculous numbers and things like that. So yeah, I will never say no to doing a qualification that is very relevant to your role as well. But you might not think it's relevant, and then you start doing the role and you're like, actually, this is really good. And then outside of that, I do think that I will eventually do my CIPD level 7.
She said it, guys.
Yeah, I would love to train as a solicitor too. I would actually love to do that.
Let's do it.
I just don't know if I have it in me. But it would be sick.
I don't know if I have it in me either.
Because like even now, like dealing with calls and stuff, and the next step is always for me to recommend a lawyer. I'd love to recommend myself or you.
There we go. And actually now when I need a mediator, I'm recommending Velisa. So it actually works between the two of us. I think we'll
have our own
we'll have our own like little skill set that we can do everything with.
But I do think I'll do level 7 eventually. I'll be honest, it won't be from a place of I think I need it, like I need it. But I just think it will be good to have. I think it will be a boost of confidence. I think it will show that I'm still interested in HR as well. When you've been in HR for a while, and let's say I decided to look for another job, I think actually doing level 7 a little bit later in my career shows that, okay, she's actually
still engaged.
Yeah, she's still engaged with HR. She's still passionate about it. So yeah, I'll definitely, yes, I am. Yeah. So I'll definitely look into it more. It's just, finding the time to do it. But that's one of the good things actually with DPG Learn, is that you can do it online. You can take your time with it and stuff like that. So I will be doing mine with DPG Learn.
Do you know, when I think back to my CIPD level 5, it was face to face.
So was mine.
And I did 2 modules at a time, right? So
did you fast track?
I did. I built my own for fast track.
Oh, I was fast track.
Oh no! Yeah. So basically, you can you could do it flexibly, and you could kind of pick and so I just picked modules that were on different days, and I did them at the same time. And I used to go to some Westminster campus on Regent Street, so right in Oxford Circus.
Mine was Waterloo.
Yeah, right next to where the H&M is. And now I think about the idea of trekking twice a week to go. Oh my gosh, I don't know how I did it. I really, really don't know how I did it. And I when I did my master's, it started face to face. So again, I was going in 2 days a week into my university campus, which was Westminster. And then that was for 1 term. And then COVID happened. I started in January 2020. And everything after that was infinitely easier because I was at home. Like, even by the time I got to the end of the year, I was like, how was I going in? No. So online for me is like all the way online. Face to face tuition can't see me unless it's something which really it needs to be a workshop. But otherwise, I need things that you can do very flexibly in your own time. Like if I wake up and I get a burst of energy and it's 9 p.m. on a Friday night,
you can do it.
I want to be able to log on and do the work that I need to do.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Even like a lot of people who listen to us do work full time. So even being able to do it online, maybe on your lunch break if you really wanted to, or if you've spoken to your employers about it because it's relevant to your role, even blocking out an hour or 2 when you're at work to do it will be very helpful. And then you don't even have to try and schedule in that time later, and it won't feel like your free time's being taken and things like that. So
also if you have a very especially where I have different clients, so I could be working on a client for 3 months and then working on a different client for the next 3 months or something like that, or it could be 6 months, but it's just I will never know exactly what I'm going to be doing in 3 to 6 months' time. So signing up for a qualification which requires me to be in a specific location on a specific day, or even online at a specific time, can be really hard. So my master's was like that.
Yeah, I think it just suits a busy lifestyle. Like even me thinking about doing CIP's level 7, one of the things that I'm thinking about is, okay, how am I going to manage doing level 7 while I am working full time, while I am a mum to a very young child? You know, forget the husband, like he's an adult, he'll be fine, kind of thing. But like doing those things, and then even doing the podcast as well, it's a lot to then think about, okay, where am I going to fit level 7 into that? But just knowing that I can do it online is helpful. Like, okay, now I don't have to think, how am I going to pick up my son? I can just say, okay, no, I'm going to do it at this time or
when he
or
goes
later.
to bed
Exactly. So yeah, that's amazing. The flexibility of it is great.
Yeah. I don't know. When I think about like my approach to qualifications has always been the same. Like it's very much do it if you need it, or if it's going to add value to something you're going to do. Like I don't believe in qualification for qualification's sake.
So yeah, Lola, you mentioned Prince 2. How do you think that would help you with HR?
So I typically go into my clients when there's like some sort of like transformation or transaction. So for instance, one company is merging with another company, and now I'm responsible for like figuring out all the HR stuff. So they've got like 2 HR systems. They've got, 2 employment lawyers. They've got, just 2 sets of different policies. And a lot of the time I'm doing post-merger integration or some sort of transaction. Like maybe they just got invested in by a PE house, a private equity house. And there's so many things that they are asking to do now. So there's always so many different things. And before, well, even now, like I run the projects, I understand how a project plan works, but do I understand like the methodology, like the theory behind projects and how they're supposed to work? There's stuff that I've picked up over time, kind of like in HR, where you can still be a very good like HR manager or whatever if you don't have CIPD, but it gives you that extra edge. Like it helps you to maybe think about things in a different way. And that's the way I think about projects. Like loads of us work on projects, but for me, I just think it would be good. Number one, I can't lie, to look good. To be like, if I'm doing work that involves a project, I can be like, oh yeah, as well as doing the HR stuff, like I actually understand how to run projects. And then, what I can learn, anything that's going to help me to actually run a project better. And obviously projects can be very stressful. So if I can introduce things that are going to make it less stressful, make it easier for myself or for other people, then that's kind of what the motivation has been. And Prince 2 is kind of like the gold standard project management qualification. So I wouldn't do, I probably wouldn't do, it's like I wouldn't do a HR qualification that covers the same material as CIPD if it wasn't CIPD. There might be other things I do, like for instance, like a mediation course or whatever, but I wouldn't do if I'm going to do project management qualification, like realistically is going to be Prince 2.
Yeah.
Because that is the one that everyone looks for, that everyone believes in. Like when you say Prince 2, we all know, everyone knows, okay, that's a good qualification to have in project management. So that's just my thinking. I actually was doing a lot more specific like HR project management roles or stuff like that, but now it's less that the role is for a HR project manager or a HR project lead. It's more that the roles that I do in a generalist way or interim people director or whatever, because of when I come in, there's just always so much project work. And I would just like to feel confident in doing the work, but am I running the project exactly as they should be run, like in line with like project management practices and stuff? Like I couldn't tell you. I get the job done.
I hear that.
But I don't know.
Yeah. So it would be nice to just know that, okay, what you're doing aligns with the theory of Prince 2.
Yeah, basically.
Okay, yeah. I wouldn't mind doing a Prince 2 as well, actually, to be fair. I think with ER, there's that transformation work around policies and procedures that happens a lot. And just implementing things and then sorting out training. Like right now, I'm planning sexual harassment and harassment training for EMEA. So like having something like a Prince 2 where it would help me map it out properly and things like that would be really good. Because right now for me it's just vibes like, okay, these are the countries, like this is where I need to go to these countries, all right, let me make it happen kind of thing. So yeah, it would be good.
Are you gonna have to go?
Maybe some of them, not all of them. I don't mind though, I don't mind traveling for work.
Yeah, I wish I traveled more for work. I travel actually every week for work, but not to anywhere that I'm particularly interested in.
Do you know what? So work, I have a work trip later this year, but then work have another trip to Chicago, but it's in January. So
They're going to be cold.
It's going to be freezing.
Do you even have the right clothes?
Oh my God, it's going to be freezing. And I made a joke to my manager and I said, you know, how about I don't feel safe going to Chicago? And I was like, I'm going to send whoever I need to send videos of Lil Durk and Chief Keef to say that, look, this is what
these are the people that are...
Yeah, this is what I'm seeing online. This is what I'm seeing online about Chicago. I don't feel safe like going. I'm sure I'll be more of a target than you.
Isn't Kanye from Chicago?
He is. So is Barack Obama. So is Oprah.
I was going to say, like, Kanye is not really representing, but then there's obviously some reasonable people that came from the Shy.
Yeah, you know. But I was like, I'll watch the Shy as well. It just doesn't feel safe. Like, yeah. But
I don't think that's gonna. I don't think
it's not. It's not gonna work.
When you say that Barack Obama and Oprah, I know came from.
But Lil Durk is probably who people, you know. But I digress. Yeah, traveling for work is cool. I like traveling for work.
Yeah. So
and sorry, I do feel like you have more opportunities to travel for work when you do have certain qualifications.
Yeah, because they need you to go somewhere. And
exactly. Like I've had to be flown out for mediation.
Maybe I need to do mediation.
Some of them have been so like spontaneous as well when they need like an immediate thing, and I've been flown out like the next day.
But it makes sense because it's the qualifications or the skills that you have that mean that you have to go to a certain location, because otherwise somebody local, whoever's in the region, would do it. But if they don't have those same qualifications, and I definitely think like I have just spent a lot of money on qualifications. Like,
but do you feel like you've recouped that money back?
Oh, for sure. But like there's qualifications that I spent, there's a trade-off, right? So like my ATT, my CTA and my CIPD were paid for by my employers at the time. My ACCA and my masters and now my solicitor sort of qualification are self-funded. And so literally it's about 50-50. And the difference, like, it's financially, it's great to have your employer pay for a qualification. And I always say, like, if your employer is willing to pay for a qualification, like, why would you say no? Even if, like, and they might make you sign a study contract or whatever the case may be, even if they then want you to do that, usually after you have that qualification, it's going to help you to, you know, grow your salary or grow your career further. So I would always just take that. But also sometimes, you know, you feel like there's a pressure now, like they've paid for my qualification and what if I didn't pass and all of that kind of stuff. But when you pay for your qualification by yourself, then
don't have that pressure.
But sometimes I feel like it can also make you like, well, if you're like me, you can go two ways. Like with the one at work, it might be pressure, but also you're driven. It can help you to drive you to work harder, you know, study more, make sure that you don't have to go back and tell them any bad news. And me, it's like, who's going to fight me? Like even my solicitor's qualification exam, I pushed it back. I paid for it in my own pocket. Who's going to fight me?
It's true.
But do you know what I mean? But if somebody else paid for it, I would have been more inclined to actually just do it when I needed to do it.
Yeah. But how did you get your employers to pay? Mine paid for my... Do you know, apart from my degree, I've never paid for a qualification. It's always been work.
What did you do?
My CIPD and mediation.
No. What did you do to get them to pay? Or they
so with my CIPD, it's similar to where I work now, actually. So they pay for your qualification if it's relevant, and they have like different tiers of like budget for whatever it is you want to do. So I did that, and then they made me sign an agreement that if I leave before X amount of time, I would have to pay X amount back. So if I left after 1 year, it would be like 50%. If I left after 2 years, until it was like zero. But do you know what? It was my HR director at the time who was like, you need to do CIPD. You need to do CIPD. And I'm like 22, 23 looking at him like, bro, who has the money to do CIPD?
He knew.
Like, you keep telling me, but what are you doing about it? But then my manager pushed for me to be able to do it. So I did it that way, and it was like fast tracked because they wanted me to be back in the office. So I did it over a very short space of time. And yeah, that's how I did it. I did leave though. I got a bit cocky and I left once I got my CIPD qualification. So they did drag my last paycheck.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, they did.
A lot of companies, they say it, but then they
won't do
they
it.
don't
Nah.
have the communication with payroll to get it done.
my I think my director was actually very annoyed that I was leaving quite quickly.
It gets like that.
Yeah, so they did drag it from my last paycheck, but who cares? Because hello.
Yeah, exactly. It's already paid for itself like tenfold.
Yeah, and then with my mediation, it was Meta, and they have money. They have money. I'm so sorry. I wish I had a better answer. They have money. It was a group of us. We did it. It was fine. It was good. Yeah, I don't have I could have asked them to do a master's. Yeah, like it would have been fine.
Yeah, for me, the first two were just kind of like BAU, like the people, everyone who had the job, it was a graduate program. Everyone had the job that I had would do it every year, right? So that was ATT, and then CTA. It was like if you do well enough at ATT, they want you to do CTA, then you can do it. And it was a bit of pressure because like the pass rate is really low, so a lot of people fail it. And then also if you fail it, then like how you find out your results is like a pass list which they publish.
Oh really? That's given very American.
So yeah, so you go and you look on the list for your name, and if you fail any of the papers, your name won't be on the list. So but that list goes to everyone, so everyone's checking it. Even people who didn't do the qualification get the list.
Oh my god!
So you could just log in one morning and be like, okay, CTA results say, let's see. So everybody in the world knows if you passed. Like it doesn't say your name and then fail.
Oh
if your name, if they know that you've done the qualification, your name is not on the list. It says that you failed. So
that's so embarrassing. That's like high school times 100.
It's just So there was just a bit of pressure on that, but that was just like BAU. So I didn't necessarily ask to do that. It was just more like the normal kind of course of business in that role. With my CIPD level 5, I did ask. I got it. I negotiated it as part of my job. When I was getting recruited for the role, I was taking a pay cut. You already know, and I thought, okay, I can take the pay cut up to this level. And also, I said, I'm coming in. I'm taking a pay cut. I really want to do CIPD, and so I got it. I negotiated it as part of that recruitment process, so that it was already signed off by the time I got there.
That's good.
Yeah,
that's good.
Yeah. It was a small company, so I probably could have made more unreasonable demands in hindsight.
Yeah, I haven't done it yet, but when I got the job that I'm in now, part of my it didn't feel like a negotiation, but I guess it was to do the next CIPD qualification when I'm ready.
Oh, so it's patterned already.
Yeah, if I want to do it. Yeah.
You want to do it. But it's just about when.
Yeah. I want to be a fellow.
Do you think there's a good time though? Because sometimes I think if we just wait for the good, there's never a good time. Like our lives actually just get busier.
Do you know what gingers me? So I have a friend who has twin girls who are 2 years old, and she has a son who is 4, and she literally just graduated with her PhD. And so in that, she's been doing her PhD for a good 4 or 5 years, since she had the first one. So she's been doing her CIPD with 3 children, 3 under 5s.
Her
PhD. Yeah. So what's my excuse?
What is the excuse? I mean,
what's my excuse?
They say comparison is a thief of joy, but also what's your excuse?
No, but also when I look at that and I'm just and I see the chaos and I'm and you still found time to do your PhD to the point where you're walking across the stage and all 3 of your children are watching you do that.
Yeah.
I have no reason not to.
But I just think there's no good time to do a qualification. If we wait for a good time, then we won't ever do it. But
that's anything in life.
There are some bad times to do a qualification. So, if you've got a defined period of time where you're going to be super busy and you've got stuff going on, and for instance, if someone told me they're leading up to their wedding in 6 months and now is the time that they wanted to do it, I might say maybe it's not the perfect time. Yeah. I'm not saying they couldn't be able to do it, but I think there are some not great times to do it. But I don't think there's ever a time when someone goes, this is a great time to do that. One of the best times when you have no job. And I actually always tell people if right now, obviously we know the job market is the pits, and loads of people are looking for jobs and they don't have them. And obviously if you don't have a job, you don't have money. I get it. But if there is excess money, it's the best time to study. Even if you start preparing using free materials to do it. There's no better time to study than when you have no job. It's just, if you can make the finances work, it's definitely worth it, because you literally have nothing to do. So us saying a qualification can take you 6 months or 12 months. That's if you're working. That's if you're doing it part-time. If you're working full-time. If you're not working, you can do so much more in the time, and you can get it done much faster.
100%. I agree. Definitely. Yeah, I agree. You should do that if you have the spare time to do it. But yeah, like the answer is, do you do the qualification?
Shall we do a case?
Let's do it.
I feel like you've been carrying the...
Yeah, so take it.
I was going to say the caseload, but that was like, no pun intended. But you've been carrying the caseload. So I saw this case, a BA case. I think we did another like airport one, or one about Heathrow recently.
Yeah, we did. Yeah. Yeah,
but this is about BA. So basically, there was a flight attendant. She'd been working for BA for almost 40 years. I think it was like 38 years at the time. Working for one company for 38 years, that's another conversation in itself, right? It's giving Pret CEO. But she was working there for 38 years, and she developed anxiety and stress. And she never really had any serious periods of sickness before in the 40 years, but she developed stress and anxiety so enough that she couldn't work. So she was signed off from work. And the idea was she was supposed to go back to flying, but the flying was actually giving her anxiety, or the job in itself was giving her anxiety. So she proposed a phased return to work with ground duties until she was able to kind of build herself back up to flying. And what she asked is, she said, okay, I want to start with ground duties, and also if I could be placed at Gatwick instead of Heathrow, because that was very like close to her home. They gave her ground duties, but they didn't put her close to home. So given that she lives near Gatwick, she was still commuting to Heathrow, which is obviously quite a lot, especially when before the commute it was different, because you were commuting to the airport and then presumably being in the sky and flying all over the place. And she started phase return to work, and by the time it was sort of time for her to go back, she just wasn't ready. And then 3 months later, they terminated her on the basis of incapacity. So basically, she's medically unable to work. Like, she's not going to be able to work because of her illness. And then she went to Employment Tribunal for disability discrimination and unfair dismissal, and she won. And we don't know yet how much the payment is going to be, but I would guess it's probably going to be significant.
Yeah, definitely. Getting rid of someone when they've got 40 years of service and they haven't even, it's not because of their behaviour, they haven't done anything inappropriate.
Only 3 months.
That's crazy.
3 months is really not a long time.
It's nothing.
It was 3 months after she came back. So obviously she had been off for a little while after that, but it's irrelevant. She's just come back. Like, she's only now trying to start working
just
again.
Adjusting, yeah. It's rude, it's disrespectful.
It's given they didn't want her there. I can't even lie to you.
And I'm not one of those people who shout about, this is why we shouldn't work for the man, and, you shouldn't give your life to one company. But this is why you shouldn't give your life to one company, because 40 years for them to treat you that way is really disgusting.
I think it adds insult to injury.
It does.
If it was any company, it would already be bad. But a company that you've literally worked your whole working career.
Yeah, she's done everything there in 40 years, 100%.
Yeah, 40 years.
Yeah.
Like, even if she started working when she was, the earliest, like 16, she would still be, in her 50s. But realistically, she probably started when she was in her 20s. So she's probably in her 60s now. Yeah. So, and we already know the job market is the pits. And it's not going to be easy for anybody to find a job, especially somebody who's worked literally one job for 40 years, never even probably hadn't done a CV or anything in 40 years.
Especially someone who her job was flying and now she can't fly. What are you supposed to do? And also she's going to be limited, because it means that unless she's changed his career completely, but who's going to do that at the age she's probably
with no relevant work experience?
Which means it has to be another airline and another airport, which is just ridiculous. So we'll probably report back once we find out how much she's going to get.
Yeah, but I think that's it. I just think it's, the service and the termination so quickly is crazy. Like, in the NHS, you can just be off, obviously not just be off, but in the NHS and public sector, you can be off for 6 months full sick and then come back and you can still do phase return, and they still give you time. And not even just in the public sector, in the private sector, depending on the company, you can also get stuff like that as well. And anyway, I don't want to ruin anyway. I don't want to ruin anything for us, but yeah.
Do you know what? I'll say it. I won't say it properly, but I'll say a little bit. I don't understand these big companies with big reputations that behave like this. Like, do they understand the weight that they carry when they when they make these decisions and they go to employment tribunal? Like,
the problem, right, if we're being realistic, is that going to stop you from flying with them?
No, but why would you let it go that far?
Yeah, because
you've got money.
But if most companies had the benefit of foresight, so they know exactly what's going to happen before it happens, they would do the right things. But it's thinking, oh, I can get away with this, or this is not a big deal, or even if we're taking away, we're giving a bit more grace, just not thinking about it.
Do you know what I think it is as well? And I say this only now because of all the case reviews that I do and reading up the judges' comments. I think a lot of HR people don't do enough of it, because I think if they did more of it, they would assist in better decisions being made. You know? Yeah. I think that's what it is. Like, separate note, and we can talk about it probably on another episode, but Barclays Bank as well, they had someone who had made some really sexual, derogatory comments towards a woman at work, and they dismissed him. They did an investigation, but they didn't interview him. They didn't interview half of the witnesses, and then they just got rid of him. And so he won at tribunal. And it's just like, processes just needs to be followed. Yeah. You know, it doesn't matter how wrong the individual is in what they've done. Just like the other case we did with the officer, the fact that you haven't followed process is always going to work against you, or haven't used your better judgment. Getting rid of someone after 3 months when they've had 40 years of service, your better judgment was not used.
And I'm trying to think of a policy that I've seen which would actually get somebody. It's actually not easy to dismiss someone on capability grounds. I mean,
it's not.
Incapacity.
It's not.
It's actually
it's hard.
And I don't think it's that easy to do it within a 3-month period. This
is why when I see companies do this, I'm just like, do you know what's so funny actually? So since this case has come out, I've actually seen BA release 2, an employee relations role, an industrial relations role as well. And it's so funny when that happens, like these cases happen and then they look for those people. Where were they in the first place?
They probably realised, somebody who was in our ER team, or we don't have the right skills and the capability within our ER team to do it.
Yeah.
So,
but they don't like those people when we are in place, because we question everything and they don't like it.
Yeah.
But yeah. I hope she wins a lot. I really want to know how much she gets.
Must do. Like, they have to take into account her age, the fact that the opportunity to kind of return to flying in a more like safe environment, safe as in like psychologically safe environment, like no other work experience, the tenure, the short time that it has and disability discrimination, you will win a lot of money because it's like the disability discrimination ones are always the worst.
It's true.
Well, kudos to her for sticking up for herself, and when they obviously didn't think that she would.
That's part of the problem as well. Yeah. So they don't think half.
You should actually just assume that everybody's going to do it.
Yeah, you should.
All right then. Well, thanks guys. Don't forget, please, this is a very special episode sponsored by DPG Learn. Woo! And you can use our code EHHR5 to get 5% off CIPD courses, HR and L&D levels 3, 5 and 7, and also Prince 2 courses.
That's a wrap, guys. Bye.